What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global back here with another video. And in this one, we are going to continue to talk about the 2024 NFL Draft for the New England Patriots. More specifically, the first round, pick 3 overall. What are the Patriots going to do? We already talked about Caleb Williams and Drake Maye. Which guy was a better fit? We talked about that a couple of months ago and really broke both of those prospects and what they bring to the New England Patriots. So although Caleb Williams, I don't think is realistic, I honestly never thought it was realistic for the Patriots. If you're interested in hearing a little bit more about Drake Maye, go ahead and check that video out. I will have that linked in the comment section below for you guys if you're interested. But in this one, we have to talk about the other option for the Patriots that is more than likely going to be there by the 3rd overall pick. The question mark is going to be, is Jayden Daniels the only quarterbacks that is going to be there for New England at the 3rd overall pick? Or are the Patriots going to have a pick between Jayden Daniels and Drake Maye? So today we're going to talk about, does Jayden Daniels make sense for the Patriots? But also, who is he? What does he bring? And do I like the potential selection if that is the route that the Patriots decide to go? Of course, we're also going to be talking about the sponsors of today's video, BetUS, where you guys can get a couple of exclusive, awesome offers. But before we do that, let's hop into the intro. Now, look, I'm not going to touch upon in this video yet again, do I think the Patriots need to go quarterback with the 3rd overall pick? Or should they go Marvin Harrison Jr.? Should they go Joe Alt? I've been very vocal about what I think they should do, and I will continue to do so, but I will not keep banging the table with the same argument time after time. A lot of Patriots fans are very on board with Jayden Daniels or very off board with Jayden Daniels. Just remember that selecting a quarterback is just like selecting any other player in the NFL draft. It is a chance. It is a shot, okay? Selecting a quarterback is no different in terms of taking a chance on a player than it is at wide receiver, than it is at offensive tackle, than it is at any other position in the draft. Really, what it all comes down to is having a coaching staff in place that is implemented to be able to work well with your rookie and be able to develop them. Something that the Patriots, outside of Mac Jones' first year, were never able to do with him. Jayden Daniels, though, a 4-star recruit, transferred from Arizona State for his first 3 years, and then went to LSU for his final 2 years as a 5-year starter and got a lot of heck from his teammates switching from Arizona State to LSU. There's actually a video that was surfacing around of when he was clearing out his locker at Arizona State to start that transfer to LSU, and his teammates were videotaping him. They were live streaming him. They were clowning him. They were getting on his ass, essentially bullying the poor guy for transferring to LSU. And he continued to prove them wrong and play absolute dominant football. So a guy truly who has a chip on his shoulder. Also, the Heisman winner this past year. Usually, when a quarterback wins the Heisman, that year he goes on to be the #1 quarterback selected in the draft, okay? This isn't false. This is factual statements. The quarterback that wins the Heisman that year, who enters the draft the same year, always gets selected first. Now, obviously, because of the situation that he's in with Caleb Williams and whatnot, that's not going to happen here. But I do think because of this, he is going to be rising draft boards significantly, especially after he tests out at the combine. I really believe that the combine is going to be built for somebody like Jayden Daniels, who is going to perform excellently and continue to shoot up draft boards like he's been. Not only that, but he has been the best player, not just amongst quarterbacks, but from any player in any position in this draft, has developed significantly on a year-to-year basis in a way that no other player has been able to. In 2023, he was the consensus All-American. He was the SEC Offensive Player of the Year and first team All-SEC. Again, all just in 2020. Now, in terms of his stats, this past year, he played in 12 games and was 236 of 327 with a completion percentage of 72.2, passing for 3,812 yards, 11.7 yards per attempt, 40 total passing touchdowns with 4 interceptions and a 208 rating to go along with that, which I genuinely thought that my eyes were confusing me. I could not believe a 208 rating. That's absolutely absurd. But In terms of his ability on the ground, which is what separates Jayden Daniels from all the other quarterbacks, especially these top quarterbacks in these drafts, is that he had 135, attempts on the ground for 1,134 yards and another 10 touchdowns. That means he put up over 5,000 all-purpose yards and 50 touchdowns. Now, in terms of some of the things I really do like about Jayden Daniels, first off, like I said before, no player has improved as much as Jayden Daniels has from a year-to-year basis. When you're drafting a player, it's not all necessarily about how he's going to contribute right away, how NFL ready that player necessarily is. A lot of times, you want to draft a player that you know can take your notes, that you know can still evolve. And Jayden Daniels has shown that again more than anybody else has. His 2021 season, PFF graded him 83.2. In 2022, PFF graded him 87.8. This past year, PFF graded him 94.7. He's not just marginally better every year, he has gotten significantly better every single year. The other thing that I really do like about Jayden Daniels that not a lot of people talk about is that his turnover-worthy play rate, meaning essentially how often does he put the ball at risk, is only 1.6%. That is tied for 6th in the nation. That is better than the two quarterbacks ahead of him in this draft, in Caleb Williams and Jayden Daniels, essentially meaning that he doesn't put the ball in harm's way. He doesn't have as many turnover-worthy plays again as these other two quarterbacks have shown. He's arguably also the best deep passer in this entire class. And I know that a lot of people want to put Penix in there, and I understand why. There's a lot of really good deep passing quarterbacks in this class. Jayden Daniels, though, put up a deep grade this past year of 99.2, which is absolutely absurd. His scrambling, his ability to create off script, that's probably the best thing about Jayden Daniels. But something that is a close second is his ability to hit receivers down the field. He also had a no-pressure grade of 99.3. He had an overall passing grade of 92 with an intermediate passing grade of 89.4. His adjusted completion percentage this past year was 79.6, which was ranked 7th in the nation. Now, to go along with that, he had 1,347 deep yards, which was ranked 4th in the nation, and his big-time throw rate was 8.4%, which was ranked 6th in the nation. Now, like I said, his ability to create off script is something that is second to none in this entire quarterback class, okay? He is easily the best. And a lot of people are comparing him to Lamar Jackson, and you could easily understand why. I don't think we've seen such a prolific mobile rushing quarterback since we have with Lamar Jackson. I also think that Jayden Daniels does have a better arm straight off the bat heading into the NFL than Lamar Jackson does. I think he will be more consistent there. But not only is Jayden Daniels the most athletic quarterback in this class, not only is he still fairly young at 23 years old. He's not the youngest quarterback, but it's not like he's 24, 25. But he also has very good mental processing. A lot of times with quarterbacks, young quarterbacks, especially entering the draft, it seems like they are either athletically gifted or they are really good in terms of football IQ and mental processing. Jayden Daniels is a guy that has both of those put. The funny thing for me is that a lot of Patriots fans that are complaining about Jayden Daniels, complaining about the potential of them going Jayden Daniels with the 3rd overall pick, are the same ones that want a quarterback that can create off script and a guy that can still make plays happen when the play breaks down. That guy is Jayden Daniels. His ability to be a mobile quarterback, keep his eyes downfield, but still not only be an elite passer, but also be a mobile quarterback, I would say makes him not necessarily the number one quarterback in terms of creating off script, but you could definitely make an argument for him being the best quarterback to create off script. I would say it's definitely between Jayden Daniels and Caleb Williams. Now, guys, before we continue on the video, we talk about his weaknesses and overall, what do I think about Jayden Daniels? Do have to give a massive shout out to the sponsors of not just this video, but the sponsors who have really helped grow this channel and have been there for this channel all season long. BetUS. Those are my buddies over at BetUS, who we've talked about all season long. Right now, you guys can get a 125% sign-up bonus with the link in the description box below, and I will also have that for you in the comment section below also. BetUS is completely free to sign up. It's available in every state you go to, so you don't have to worry about, are you going to be able to bet with BetUS or not? No matter where you are, you will be able to use them as long as you are the correct age and your state, of course, does allow you to. What that 125% sign-up bonus does is essentially double your initial deposit. In fact, doesn't just double it, it more than doubles your initial deposit. Say you put down $100, that then turns into $225 for you to play with. Completely free to sign up. But also, guys, when you do sign up, it significantly helps go to support the channel. Don't forget, the best way to support this channel is to support the sponsors that support the channel so that they'll keep coming back and funding the channel so that we can keep making content for you guys, not just on here, but on other pages too, featured, and just making so much Patriots content for you guys to learn and, of course, be interested in. Now, if we go ahead and we look at BetUS right now, you guys can bet on a multitude of different things for the Super Bowl. I mean, you can bet on the game, you can bet on first quarter, third quarter, first half, second half. We want to go down and we want to look at the game here. Right now, the San Francisco 49ers are currently the favorites by only 2 points. For me personally, I'm going to take the under of 47.5 total points. Both of these defenses are stout. You look at how the championship round went for the 49ers and the Lions, but also not just that, but the Chiefs and the Ravens. It's going to be more of a low scoring game. The under always hits. The under always hits. I think 4 out of the last 5 years, the under has hit. So that's a little sneak peek preview for you guys. But even if you want to say, I'm not really interested in betting on that game, you can even bet on the draft, right? Who is going to be the first quarterback selected? Who's going to be the first non-quarterback selected? All things that you guys can bet on with BetUS right now. Again, link in the description box below. But also in the link in the description box below is going to be a link to the BetUS YouTube channel. Super Bowl 58 is next weekend. And if you guys are looking for some inside information, some inside picks from award-winning sports bettors before the game, go ahead to BetUS Picks and Predictions YouTube channel so that you guys are nice and educated before you ultimately make your bets. Now, where there is good with any player, there's also bad. There's also going to be concern. So we also have to break those down with Jayden Daniels. My first thing being is that he has the ability to throw in all 3 phases for sure, especially deep like we mentioned, but his ability to hit in the middle of the field is questionable. It's inconsistent. And we've seen that that's what the Patriots like to run over the course of the last 20 or so years. Now, we ultimately don't know exactly what this offense is going to look like in 2024. What is the exact scheme that they're going to run with Alex Van Pelt? That is still in question. We talked that it could be a West Coast offense, but Alex Van Pelt has worked within several different offensive schemes. So that does dictate that, look, he could go the route of Jayden Daniels and he could work with him, but Alex Van Pelt could also very well work with Drake Maye and implement a West Coast offense in order for him to be successful. I've seen a lot of people trying to say that with the hiring of Alex Van Pelt, this immediately means that the quarterback is Jayden Daniels. And that does not necessarily mean so when you have an offensive coordinator that is able to work in several offensive schemes. To me, that shows me that they are going to take a quarterback at 3, but they're not exactly sure who it's necessarily going to be. So they want to be safe. They want to have someone that is going to be able to work in the correct scheme, no matter what quarterback they end up take. Now, if the Patriots offensively want to create more big-time plays, more splash plays down the field, they want to start hitting more targets down the field. They want to start using guys like Tyquan Thornton, using speedsters, using those contested catch guys on the outside like Devontae Parker, then Jayden Daniels does make sense. But if they're going to try to still implement kind of a Patriots-esque scheme and still try to run a lot of their offense through the middle of the field, then Jayden Daniels might not necessarily be your guy. Now, probably the biggest question that I think everybody has involved with Jayden Daniels is, can he help the offense past its limitations? Now, for a guy who is as mobile as he is, who passes the ball as well as he does, to process as well as he does, you would think he will be able to. But this past year, LSU had a top 10 offensive line, but not just that, he also had 2 top 10 wide receivers that will be entering the 2024 draft in Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas. So, was he elevated because of the supporting cast around him, or was he the reason that those guys were so successful? That's the big question. I don't necessarily think that that's as big of a problem as some other people do. Now, if you want a quarterback that has proven time after time to be able to be the reason that his offense is elevated, then you want Drake Maye. Drake Maye doesn't have an elite offensive line. Drake Maye doesn't have a first-round talent at running back, tight end, or wide receiver, and still got himself into the consensus number 2 quarterback. But at the same time, too, if you're really worried about that, then just surround your quarterback with a good supporting cast and a good offensive line. Now, my next biggest problem with Jayden Daniels is that he's small. He is very, very small, especially when transitioning to the NFL level. If this guy does not put on size, he is going to get murdered in the NFL. The great thing about Tom Brady wasn't necessarily that he was elite at one specific thing, but it was his ability, his NFL ability, the longevity to his career is what helped make Tom Brady. A lot of the quarterbacks, a lot of the players in this league are putting their bodies at jeopardy so often that is going to limit just how long they are in the NFL. And when you finally hit on a quarterback, or you're using a first round pick on a quarterback to really set your franchise around that player, you want him playing for several years. That is one concern I do have with Jayden Daniels. At 6'4", 210 pounds, yes, he has the ideal height to play quarterback, but in terms of his frame, he does not. And he's going to get injured. He is going to get killed. And the best ability is availability for any position in football on the field. So that's one concern that I do have with him. He's going to have to put on some size. He is going to have to be able to take more hits. But the other concern I have with him is that he doesn't slide. He does put his body at jeopardy when he scrambles a lot of the time, when he tries to extend plays. He has dog in him. He's not scared of contact. He's not scared to get hit, and that is excellent. But at the same time, you also don't want your quarterback having to take hits or have to be that dog. From time to time, for sure, it's okay. But in terms of longevity, that's not what you want your quarterback to do. He's got to learn to go out of bounds, and he's got to learn to slide. He's also got to learn when to just sit in the pocket and take the sack or try to have his routes develop in the passing game and not just take off as a runner. And then next up, this kind of goes back to what I was saying a little bit earlier with some of my concerns about him is, yeah, he has a big arm. He can hit it down the field, but he has really poor velocity, very inconsistent velocity. So when he has to fit passes into tight windows, that's a major question you're going to have with him. In the NFL, tight windows is significantly different. An open receiver is very different than it is at the college level. And again, if the Patriots want to operate in the middle of the field, where a lot of times those windows are going to be a split second and they're very short, is Jayden Daniels going to be able to hit those guys? That's a major question and a major concern that we're going to have to see if he can get wrinkled. And then lastly, I've had a lot of people ask me, what is the accuracy to Jayden Daniels? As a quarterback, of course, there's a lot of important things. Accuracy has to be somewhere in your top 3, no matter who you're talking to. His accuracy is inconsistent. Deep is definitely where his accuracy shines the most. The inconsistencies are coming more to the short to intermediate route. Again, coming back to the intermediate route, the middle of the field. That's where, again, we've known the Patriots for years have liked to operate. And if that's where they want to operate, that seems to be where a lot of the questions to Jayden Daniels are mostly coming. He also has to learn how to throw on time. A lot of time, the timing to his throws is very off, but that's not something that to me is too much of a concern and something that, again, I think Alex Van Pelt and whatever quarterback coach they decide to bring here, because it sounds like they are going to bring even in another quarterback's coach, that I'm confident they can iron that out. But guys, this is where I throw it off to you. Do you want to see the Patriots draft Jayden Daniels or not? To me, I love Jayden Daniels. If they go with Jayden Daniels, I'm not going to be upset at all. There is a significant drop-off between the top 3 quarterbacks versus the rest of these quarterbacks in my mind. So again, I think Drake Maye does fit the Patriots system a little bit better. I think I'm a little bit more confident in him than I am Jayden Daniels. But again, if they go Jayden Daniels, he was the first player I fell in love with in this draft process. I definitely would not be upset if they went with him, or he's the only player that was option for them with the 3rd overall pick. What are your guys' thoughts, though? Let me know in the comments section below, along with what other draft prospects do you guys want me to talk about? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video and subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. As always, though, I appreciate you guys for watching, and go Pats.